So I actually do think that the Epic Pass, even more than the Icon Pass or the Indy Pass, um, is maybe like the only dramatic change we have seen in how people deal with something like climate since snowmaking first just became universal in the early 1980s. Right? I mean, people keep making more snow, but the Epic Pass was truly like this brilliant idea of going, well, all of these mega corporations have failed in the past, but we have a different model, right? There's suddenly a new issue, people are struggling to open. And it's not that like this is going to make us more money inherently. It's actually that we can guarantee our resorts won't close. Because when push comes to shove, if something devastating happens and it didn't snow for until March at Stevens Pass, presumably it snowed in Colorado or, the Northeast or California or somewhere else, and they can funnel money to keep that place open in case the opposite happens next year. So I think they're making them more accessible to people our age who grew up skiing, but are not making the money our parents made, and so could not afford to do it if not for these passes. I worked for Aspen throughout my first few years of grad school. The last 2 years I did not. And I bought an Icon pass. And 2 years ago, I mean, I skied 50 days at however many different resorts for $700. It would have cost me $700 to ski for 2.5 days at Aspen or Vail, right? Or Jackson or Steamboat or Alto, all of these great resorts I went to. Um, and I think that that's like, right, for me, like $700 is a little over a third of my monthly income, right? Like that is not a small chunk of change. And I think that often gets lost on people because so much of the complaint comes from the people who are in these spaces who are going to shell out that chunk of change anyway, right? Like once you start talking that way, I do think some of these complaints sort of, they lose a little bit of their muster and people just don't want to talk about it. And I've tried to talk to a lot of people about it and they just go, I mean, some people will just go, oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's not my complaint. And sitting there going, sure, but it is the issue. And like, that's like Vail revealed what the biggest issue in skiing has been, which is that it has been more expensive every year since 1980. And I mean, like, they revealed that, right? They went, oh, we can actually give you a $400 ticket to any one of the best mountains in the country, right? And like, unsurprisingly, people were pretty stoked about that. Because for people like me, it means I can ski. So I'm not sure it's bringing new people into skiing, but I do think I do think that they've caught on to the fact that the economics of skiing are different and there still is just like a need for bodies. And so I think that's where it like, right, like I think it's keeping to an extent the number of skiers from shrinking, which has been just like the fear of the ski industry for about 30 years now, that like they're just not pulling in new skiers. And so you at least need to keep the people skiing.